Hey everyone, Shabby here, and welcome to our next episode of SWE Showdown. And we have a championship match for you here this evening. As promised from last week, we are going to see Bayley defending her Throwdown Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. And here is our first match of the evening. Nikki has been making quite a name for herself for the last couple of weeks, assaulting our junior heavyweight champion, Evie. This evening we see Nikki in singles competition. He takes on Eva Marie. And here we go. So an interesting opportunity here for Nikki to show us exactly what she can do in the ring. Like I say, she's been making quite a name for herself of recent, assaulting our junior heavyweight champion Evie. And she gets an opportunity here to show exactly what she can do against Eva Marie. I can't imagine this is going to be a very even fight, can you? I do have Eva Marie marked down a little bit on mine. I've got Eva Marie down as a 68, I think she is. Nikki is up in the 80s, so this should be a pretty one-sided match in all fairness. That's what you would assume anyway. You know what this game's like sometimes. This game is a bit of a nutter. And I'm hoping, well, if you've watched my previous universe modes and previous games, we did have a situation where R-Truth defeated, well, R-Truth won a King of the Ring tournament. I literally put R-Truth in to make up the numbers, essentially. And I think, if I remember correctly, he defeated Eddie Guerrero, Edge, and one other. It was another good guy, another along them sort of lines, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, and somebody else. And then I promised whoever won the King of the Ring, we're getting into Intercontinental Championship match. He then went on to beat Randy Orton. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. He was like 20 or 30 stat points below everybody, and he still came out with a result like that. And it was crazy. It really was. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case here this evening, because I like to try and build people up when it comes towards a pay-per-view. Get a bit of Braun Strowman syndrome on the go. That's a good chance here for Eva Marie. You never know if she can pull something out of the bag here. I don't even know who's got. I think I've got Eva Marie over on Throwdown, to be honest with you. I don't know what's happening with her and WWE at the moment. I believe she's still under contract. She's obviously went out just after the draft after failing. I don't know if she failed a drugs test, or I think the original line was she never returned the paperwork in time for the drugs test. So I don't know what's happening with her. She must have got back into it a long time ago. She's been doing a film as well. She's been recording. There's been rumours she's struggling with falling back into a bit of alcohol addiction. I don't know if that's just rumours or real or what, but she used to be she used to have quite an alcohol addiction before she started wrestling, I think. But rumour has she'd fallen back into that. But I don't know. I don't think she's really needed, to be honest with you. The women's division on SmackDown is thriving, even though Raw I think probably has the stronger. Raw has the stronger women's division, but SmackDown is using them a lot better. And when you look at NXT now, the sort of women that I looked at 6 months ago and wasn't too impressed with, the likes of Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Liv Morgan, Aliyah, they were all pretty slow and a bit sloppy in the ring. But after catching up with NXT yesterday, I'll tell you what, moving towards this this takeover, they have improved tenfold. That Sarah Amato, or Sarah Del Rey, the trainer over in NXT, is an absolute godsend for this women's division, because she seems to be able to just really train these people up so well. Of course, it's got to be to do with the actual potential of the people as well involved, but she's doing such a fantastic job. And whereas I was only saying a few months ago the women's division was looking pretty weak in NXT, it's now looking better and better and better. And with the Ember Moon versus Asuka match coming up in a few days' time at NXT TakeOver. That is a match that I am very interested in, that one. I'd be interested to see exactly what happens in that one. Whether we're going to see a new women's champion, or whether Asuka will give up the belt after Mania and move up to the main roster. I've got a feeling that she might do that, and then we can have maybe a women's title tournament, maybe. I've got a feeling that Asuka will walk out of TakeOver still with the championship. I think Ember Moon will probably be the best match that Asuka's had so far for that belt. But like I say, I think we'll see Asuka move up to the main roster unbeaten, maybe. Or maybe it'd be better just for her to lose that unbeaten status before she moves up, because it's a big thing weighing over your head. If you look at the Charlotte thing with the takeover, with the pay-per-view, run, it sort of created something that WWE then had to deal with, and eventually she lost that pay-per-view run when Bayley won the championship at. When Bayley won the championship at Fastlane, and since then it's been a little bit iffy here and there, hasn't it? I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what they do. That's an interesting one, because for the first time coming up to an NXT of the last few years, I'm not convinced that... Saying that, I thought Asuka was going to lose the belt at the last pay-per-view, I must admit. The last takeover at Royal Rumble, I was convinced that Asuka was going to lose the belt. That's why it was a fatal four-way, so Asuka could lose the belt without being pinned. That's what I assumed, but apart from that, it looks pretty... Oh, God. Eve Marie. Don't do this, Eva. Oh, my God. Eve Marie's going to... No. Oh, thank God for that. Nikki Cross kicked out. Nikki Cross. What are you doing to me, Nikki? She's trying to kill me. Nikki fighting back now. Come on, Nikki. You need to pull this off. You need to pull this off, Nikki. Nikki now, there it is, the spinning neck breaker. Now dragging Eve Marie into the middle of the ring. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And there we go, Nikki Cross with the victory over Eve Marie. Thank God for that. I was a little bit worried then it was all going to go haywire. But Nikki Cross, great victory for her, showing what she can do. And maybe she must be on Evie's radar. And, oh, talking of Evie, here she comes. Down the ramp, straight into the ring, and just slapping Nikki Cross in the face. Like I said, Nikki attacking Evie 2 weeks in a row now. Attacked her a couple of weeks ago during her entrance, and then last week hopping the barrier after a match and taking her out. But it seems to have backfired here on Evie slightly as Nikki Cross turns this one around. Oh, wow. Nikki Cross really in firm control of our current junior heavyweight women's champion here on Showdown. Nikki locking the legs and stamping on the knees of Evie. Now that's just going to damage the legs as well. Nikki Cross is turning into the Brock Lesnar, the Showdown roster. And there's that twisted neck breaker. Nikki Cross. Evie tried to get some retribution against Nikki Cross, but Nikki was there to finish her off as well. Wow. Nikki Cross unbeatable here. And here is our second match of the evening. It is going to be Natalya taking on Asuka. And here we go. And oh, Asuka away to the ring. Being attacked here by Ivelisse. Wow, the women are going crazy here this evening. Ivelisse, of course, looking to try and get her Mayhem Women's Championship back from Asuka. Referee not happy with that at all. And Ivelisse has definitely put Asuka at a disadvantage for this one. Natalya is not an easy opponent, especially after you've just been assaulted from behind. Asuka looks still willing to go, though. But what sort of effect is that going to have on Asuka? The bell rings and we are underway. Although it looks like Ivelisse may have just pissed Asuka off, but I think it was more sending a message more than anything else. Asuka slamming the arm of Natalya into the mat. Now just stamp it on the face as well. What's Natalya up to? She's got a little bit high risk here. Up onto the middle rope and dropping the double elbows across the chest here of Asuka. Yeah, we're speaking of Asuka in the last match. I think she will end up on the main roster pretty soon. I've heard rumours about the draft. I don't think it is going to be after WrestleMania, which I was hoping it would be. I'm thinking it is going to be close to SummerSlam. Sort of a year on from the last one, but it doesn't make sense to me. I would prefer for it to be the night after Mania. Just hit the reset button, freshen everything up, and then just go in for another year. But that's what they want to do, and the rumour has it, apparently it was mentioned in the... Apparently it was mentioned in the conference call that Vince does, that they wanted to have a draft with both brands getting so many picks. I think it was 5 picks each, and the idea would be that they would be able to steal picks from the opposing brand or take from NXT. That's what I read anyway. Whether that's true, I don't know. I would honestly have both brands having 5 picks, and then have a few matches, and the winners of the matches would get an extra draft pick. But 5 changes is quite a big one. You could think of the people you could steal. Like, for example, Raw could come straight in and take AJ Styles, then SmackDown could come straight in and take Seth Rollins. And all of a sudden you've got 2 massive changes there. SmackDown could take Roman Reigns, Raw could take The Miz, maybe? He's been a big name for them, The Miz. Be disappointing though for SmackDown if Raw did come in and take The Miz and AJ Styles, because that's possibly been 2 of their biggest stars this year, really, if you look at it that way. But I don't know, it depends what they've got planned, I suppose. It's tricky with WWE, you never have any idea what they're up to, do you, really? Asuka, big hip attack there on Natalya. 1, 2, only a 2 count. And of course, don't forget, we still have one more match left for you here this evening after this one, as Bayley defends her Throwdown Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. Asuka with the forearm into the face. Now locking Natalya into an Asuka lock. Grapevines it as well. So Asuka, after being attacked during her entrance by Ivelisse, locks in the Asuka lock middle of the ring on Natalya. And can Natalya break free from this one? She does manage to release the arm of Asuka. And a big elbow right into the face. Pin there by Natalya. 1, 2. Wow. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Okay. So what happens now? What brand is Natalya on? Because Natalya's just pinned the Mayhem champion. I know that Ivelisse had a little go at her before the show, but Natalya is part of Mayhem. Okay. Looks like Natalya's just made that a triple threat match at Shabby Mania, didn't she? Natalya, Asuka, and Ivelisse for the Women's Championship. Anyone? And here we are with our main event of the evening. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley for the Throwdown Women's Championship. And we're ready to go already. Wow. I was going to sit there and wait then for the... the loading screen there, but because it's 2 people that are on the game, it's a nice quick one. The following match is scheduled for one fall and is for the Throwdown Women's Championship. Introducing first, the challenger, the blissful one herself, Alexa. I don't know where Alexa Bliss is from. I was trying to remember then. She's from somewhere. I know that. Bit of a stupid sentence, wasn't it? But there you go, I've said it now. Yeah, she's from somewhere around. I'm convinced now, after watching SmackDown the other night, I am convinced that Alexa Bliss will unfortunately lose the championship at Mania. I'm pretty sure that Naomi is going to walk away with that belt once again. WrestleMania is taking place in Naomi's hometown, and it's going to be her first match returning from injury after she had to give up the championship. So it just seems obvious to me that everything's stacked in her favour. She's going to win that belt at Mania. which is a little bit annoying because I'm a massive Alexa Bliss fan and I want her to be champion forever and ever and ever, but there you go. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to go through, hopefully on the day of WrestleMania, I'm going to go through all of my thoughts about who is going to do what at where and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to go through the entire WrestleMania card and sort of discuss what I think is going to happen. And I'm convinced, yeah, that Naomi is going to win that championship. But who's going to win the championship here this evening? Based on recent occurrences in the Universe mode, I would assume that Alexa Bliss is going to win this match. Nobody yet has been able to retain a singles championship in this Universe mode so far. Will Bayley be the first one? The odds are against her, like I said, but you never know. That championship does suit Bayley, doesn't it? Because of the green attire, the green championship. Bayley is just Throwdown through and through. Rocking the green. And the more I see that belt, the more I sort of like it. I wasn't too sure when I first made it because it was a little bit simple. But I think it does work. Like the previous belt wasn't a bad belt, but I do like this one as well. And this is going to be very interesting. As you've seen, of the last week or so, we saw 2 title changes on Mayhem like yesterday. We saw a title change on Throwdown last week as well. It's just all going, isn't it? It's all going. It's all going crazy. And this is what it's for. The Women's Championship here from Mayhem. My own brand. Bayley, who won the belt away from Jade at the SWE Beginnings pay-per-view, makes her first championship defense here against Alexa Bliss, who defeated her in a non-championship match last week here on Showdown. So it's not completely out of the question here. Bayley is rated higher on this game, but that means nothing. You know that as well as I do from doing these videos. As I said earlier on, the whole R-Truth situation. If you remember watching that, then you've been here for a very long time. And yeah, it was just, I was cursing every time I recorded it. I was thinking, let's let R-Truth get knocked out. Let R-Truth get. I didn't even want R-Truth wasn't even in the competition to start with. I literally put him there because I wanted to do qualifying rounds, and I wanted somebody to make it through. And R-Truth bloody beat them, knocked them out. So I put him through to the next round. He won that. He won 3 matches to win the King of the Ring, and then won another match to become the Intercontinental Champion. So I put him in a 6-man ladder match to defend it straight after. I weren't going to have R-Truth as an Intercontinental Champion for too long, was I? Bayley just kicking the head of Alexa Bliss into the mat. Now bringing Bliss back up. Bliss with the big right hand into the gutter. Bayley then just completely clatters through her. So it was Twisted Bliss last week. That corkscrew, not really a corkscrew, is it? That twisting moonsault that finished this match off in Alexa Bliss's favour. She'll be hoping to do exactly the same here this evening. If she can, then she will be our brand new Throwdown Women's Champion. The 3rd Throwdown Women's Champion before, of course, the SWE Shabby Mania pay-per-view coming up this week. Or not this week, next week, week after that, I don't know. It's coming up at some point. Which would be crazy, really, wouldn't it? 2 pay-per-views. And still, still we haven't seen anyone successfully retain a singles championship. The only 2 people that have been champions now since night number 1, I say 2 people, the only 2 that have been champions since night number 1 are the Sumerian Death Squad over on Throwdown, the tag team champions, and of course the Los Luchadoras on Showdown. We'll have to try and find out who we're going to get to face off against Los Luchadoras at the championships at Shabby Mania. That's going to have to be next week, because next week is the last Showdown before the pay-per-view. So we're going to have to put a couple of teams together to face that one. I still have the idea of potentially maybe putting Nia Jax and Tamina together as a team. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section. Do you want to see Nia Jax and Tamina face off? Face off, or team up, shall I say? Some sort of dominant heel tag team? Or do you think that'd be a little bit too overpowered? I don't think it'd be too overpowered. I don't think Tamina's that highly rated on this game. It'd be nice to have a couple more tag teams. I'm not too bothered about the tag teams being on the same brand now. Because, of course, they're both going to be on Showdown either way, aren't they? As Bayley there, with the Exploder into the corner. I'm a bit annoyed as well because I found out today, I'm recording this a couple of days ago by the way, I found out today that the SmackDown Live Women's Championship tournament match has been reduced to the pre-show on WrestleMania, and Bayley's the first person to successfully retain the singles championship. Well done to Bayley. Still your Throwdown Women's Champion. So of course she will have to defend that belt still at Shabby Mania. Everybody defends a belt at Shabby Mania. If you're a championship, you defend it. So, who's she going to go up against? Will Alexa Bliss be able to get herself another shot at the championship, or will somebody else put their name forward? I'm sure we'll have to try and figure that out either this week on Throwdown or maybe even next week on Showdown. But a great win there for Bayley, and like I said, the first person to successfully retain a singles championship here in our SWE Universe mode. And it's probably one of the ones that I did actually want to see change hands, because like I said earlier on, I'm a massive Alexa Bliss fan. But there we go, that is the end. I don't know why that's popped up again, it keeps doing that. That is the end of this episode of Throwdown, or Showdown, whatever it is. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, that nice little thumbs up buttons down below, it does really help me out. And of course, if you are new around here and you've enjoyed what you've seen and you'd like to see some more, then please hit that subscribe button as well. We've got some big stuff coming up for you. Of course, we've got another week and a half left of normal shows before we hit our Shabby Mania pay-per-view, our big pay-per-view. And we've got some massive matches for you there already. We know now we've got a fatal 4 for the Mayhem Championship as Samoa Joe defends against CM Punk, AJ Styles and Cesaro. We've got Kenny Omega defending his Throwdown Championship against Zack Sabre Jr. We've got some big matches, a fatal 4 for the United States Championship. We've got a lot of stuff going on at Shabby Mania. It's a 5-day pay-per-view. It's definitely worth a watch. Anyway, I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon for our next episode of Throwdown.